would sure do me good. Do you good. I can help you. I can help.
Singing. Oh, yay. Hi. Are you a singer or just somebody who likes singing?
Both.
I hear music in the background. Are you about to burst into song? Can I ask rough age group?
I'm 21.
21. Okay. You're into singing. What else are you into?
I paint.
You paint? Really?
Yeah.
Can I see something?
They're in my room right now, and I'm in the living room.
Okay. I will show you some of my drawings if you grab one.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. You grab yours, I'll grab mine.
Okay.
Do we like comic book stuff at all?
Yeah. No, I'm not that good.
Well, no, I'm also like twice your age. It says Bug Life tattooed across his belly. And he's throwing up VW. Yeah, that came out pretty good, I thought. I did another portrait out of dots. Just like sat there and went.
Whoa.
Can't pull that hair from the back.
I wish I can draw that good.
Well, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And if you want to draw that good, take a class in college. Take a couple of drawing classes. One of the best parts is, like, they'll teach you a couple of tricks, but mainly they're going to make you sit there and do it over and over again until you realize, oh my god, I actually can do this if I force myself to do it right. It's pretty cool. So,
I have one right here.
Oh, yes, please.
It's this.
Is it possible to adjust the camera where the light is anywhere behind it? Oh, that's cool. Is that a drip drizzle?
Yeah, it's like when I did for art class, I did paint
That's awesome.
stuff, and then I put like over it to make it glossy.
Did you watch The Labyrinth?
Mhm.
You're in for a treat then.
That's
My
my
little
favorite
sister loves when I do this. There's such a sad love deep in your eyes, a kind of pale jewel that opens and closes within your eyes. I place the sky within your eyes. There's such a full heart that's beating so fast in such a new dreams. A love that will last within your heart. I place the moon within your heart. As the pain creeps through, makes no sense for you. Every thrill is gone, it wasn't too much fun, no. Threw me there for you. As the world falls down, as the world falls, oh, love. I'll give you mornings of gold, I'll give you Valentine evenings to a stranger still now. We're choosing a path between the stars. I'll lay my love between the stars. As the pain creeps through, makes no sense for you. Every thrill is gone, it wasn't too much fun, no. But I'll be there for you. I dropped the pick. I dropped my pick. One of the things that I sang over and over again, not that song, but the when I was walking a lot, I would sing, "How you turn my world, you precious thing. You starve and you exhaust me. Everything I've done for you. But I move the stars for no one. You run so far, you run so fast. Bow, bow, bow. Your eyes can be so cruel. Dun, dun, dun. Just as I can be so cruel. Dun, dun. Yeah, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
He just teeters on head voice the entire song. Yay. Finally got to do that for somebody that can appreciate that. How'd I do?
Good.
Yeah.
You did great. I watched that so many times.
Hello.
Nice.
My angel now. Right? What's poppin', man?
God. I thought you were expecting me to do the sing for me from Phantom. You'll be my angel.
Fair enough.
No, not fair. That's not a fair thing to have me sing, sir.
Baby, lock them doors and turn them lights down low. And put some music on and soft and slow. I feel like you would have the perfect voice for that.
You got a great voice.
Well, I appreciate that.
Here's the deal. I will give you some of the best advice in your life.
Okay.
But the crux is that, this is the catch. It has to be something that's you really, genuinely, really care about. It's an interesting proposition, right?
Right. I'm thinking. Probably, self-happiness.
Well, all right, but you're not going to like the answer.
No, go for it, man. Sometimes words,
Just
that you don't like to hear are the words that you need to hear.
Very much so. Very much so. Hey, I'm the one supposed to be giving advice. You got to go to bed with a nice, full, satisfied stomach.
I like how you put that.
Thanks, man. I've been working on that for a while.
No problem. Well, I think you're doing a pretty darn good job.
Thanks, man.
Is there any advice that maybe you would want for free that I could try to help you with?
Why? That's not me blowing you off. That is literally
No.
blowing. That's me looking at this opportunity and going, don't waste it. What do you need advice on? Is there a piece of advice that you have given that is really, that you find to be unique to your point of view, but at the same time was really good advice that you gave somebody? Like you're proud of yourself for giving that advice.
Right.
That's the advice I want. What was that advice?
Oh, okay. Nobody is going to do anything for you. You need to wake up every day realizing that the most reliable person that you're ever going to have is yourself. So you need to wake up every day and realize that, you can't quit on yourself. And motivation is probably the highest key that you could live by.
Okay.
In some sense.
I think I see where you're going with that, but yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't know. Advice is really hard. I just thought I'd try to give you some.
It's so much harder than it seems, man. Thank you. Thank you.
I do have one quick question.
What's up, bro?
Out of most of your advice, what do you apply mostly to yourself? I should word it like this. What advice have you given out that has mostly helped yourself?
Oh, bro. Because most of the advice I give is stuff that, like, I've found in my own life and have lived a much better life because of. There's a ton of the top religions. It might be the top 21 now that I think about it. At any rate, the largest religions in the world all teach the same thing, which is all of them have a version of the golden rule. And even if you go by the Bible, which just seems to be like the most prevalent one in this area, it's a matter of, like, they basically said, here's the 626 rules in the Old Testament, and there's like 3 of you that made it to heaven, so here's this guy, he's going to tell you the new set of rules. And he basically said, there's 2, and they're both the most important one, which is love God, love each other. And so if nothing else, follow that. Like, give a shit about everybody else, because this isn't your story. This is all of our story.
I like that a lot.
Thanks.
That was well worded.
I appreciate it. That was hard won.
I couldn't really, say anything because I don't really know very much about religion. Yes, I believe in God, and
that's where I'm at.
Can't really speak on it.
I don't think you're going to find what you want in religion. To be
probably
handed on that. Because, like, the biggest problem with religion is that it's, if you believe one thing that they believe, they're like, that's awesome. Now you need to get to work believing all these other things that we believe, which you may not necessarily believe, you may not have reason for believing. It becomes a contradiction within yourself. Whereas you can learn from other religions. You can take wisdom from their religions and say, okay, I find this to be true. Truth has a ring to it, you know. It's unescapable when it's in front of your face, and because one of the things I found by way of discovering why it is that we find something funny, there's 2 main reasons, and this has been debated since Aristotle and Socrates. Like, every brilliant scientist, physicist, philosopher has thrown their names in the hat trying to solve why we find things funny. And I found it. But with it, I also found God. I found a path to God that wasn't through any religion. It was just plain logic. It was stuff that you've seen every day of your life. Evidence of it everywhere. Never proof. Because, like, that seems to be crucial to the design of the universe. We can't know what happens after this life, and we can't ever prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is a God. That is crucial. And I would say that's probably for faith's sake, but, like, having studied the laws of the universe extensively, they seem to be designed with this stopgap in them that says, this far but no further. I call it the subatomic shoreline. If you go molecules, atoms, subatomic particles, right around that level, logic falls the apart. Like, nothing makes any more sense. Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to know, and I think that it's been said so many damn times that the main thing you can follow is treat them like they matter as much as you do. Help when you can, because this is one story being told. And
it's kind of crazy how much, goes into that. As in, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's, well, I know what I'm thinking, but I just can't really put it into words.
Try the Michelangelo approach. When Michelangelo carved something, he looked at it, saw the thing that he wanted in it, and then cut away everything that wasn't that. The Michelangelo approach in speaking, you make a blanket statement that encapsulates it, but also has a bunch of stuff implied by it that isn't what you meant. So make the blanket statement and then chip away by telling me what you don't mean by that. I'll see it by way of the impression left.
Okay, so much that goes into it, such as, helping others. There's just multiple factors that can go into making someone's day, week, or, even year. Just being kind to others, to me, means, be there for somebody emotionally or physically. So there's just a lot that goes into it.
Well, absolutely. And it's one of those things that if I had to recommend one out of all of them, I would recommend just jump. Just do it. If you see
No
the
second thought.
need, don't count the change. Don't go, okay, but what am I going to do about that? Don't worry about giving from yourself. There will be more. If there's anything that I've learned from experience on that, give like there is no end. Because you will always be provided for. The universe will always put you in a position of where you need to be. So if you empty your pockets, it's going to refill your pockets. It's where the 10% tithing comes from, I think, and because that is a reoccurring thing in a lot of religions. It's not about, mankind has made it about, but it's not about supporting the church. It's about giving it to people that need. I don't tithe to a church or to a foundation. I tithe individually. I have a set amount of my 10% of my income that I spend on helping. And sometimes I spend more than that, if it's needed. But
Man.
You would think, okay, well, that's me without 10% of my, of my wealth. But it's not.
Okay. I see where you went with that.
You'll never notice it's missing.
Right. Kind of put it where it's needed, so therefore, it doesn't really make a difference. Well, it makes a difference, but not in a bad way.
That's where faith comes in. If you don't have to believe in a religion to have faith in God.
Right. I believe, I've always been told growing up, you need to go to church, this and that. But I feel that you don't have to go to church and be around somebody or everybody that praises God just to believe. I feel like, you could believe and praise God without going to church.
Yeah. There's a passage from, I don't think it's the Dead Sea Scrolls. It might be, I think actually it is the Dead Sea Scrolls, where Jesus, speaking on behalf of God, said, oh God, I live in no house. It's, lift a, what was it, break a stone, I am there. Lift a piece of wood, you will find me. And he's literally saying, anywhere. I'm all of it. And I have this theory that I speak at great length about because it ties in with all this other stuff that makes sense. But you know about the Big Bang Theory, right? In the very beginning, there was a singularity. There was one thing that was, and then all the rest was literally nothing. It wasn't even space. It just was the singularity, and everything came out of it. If we just call that God for a second, we say that, because we were relatively certain, like as if somebody with a physics background, something designed the universe. Something put the universe together. It's way too intricate and interlaced. It's like building a...
How could it just be there?
Right. It's like building a 500-story mansion out of playing cards in a way that they all have to be put in their positions at the exact same time. Like, it's so perfectly done. But
I often think about astrology, and it's just very, very, very fascinating to me. But yeah, it's something I often think about.
But if you think about it that way, like, it makes sense, number one. Number two, if you were an infinite being, the idea of being every particle in the universe, to be being and experiencing as each person, we are made of God. We're made of whatever that thing that was. If we're saying that there was nothing and there was this, and we believe there was a God, then what option does God have but to be that?
It's a very good question.
It's the only thing on the stage. And if the beginning there was only, if it states pretty specifically, in the beginning there was God and nothing, and there was this singularity in nothing, that singularity is breaking the rules. If it's not God. So at the end of the day, I think, and I will back this up here, because just stating it based off of that, I realize hell's no water. But when you apply it to some of the stuff that Jesus said, which I go to Jesus a lot just because I was raised Catholic, so I know a lot more of what he said than any of the prophets. But I'm not discounting any other prophet. Like, I figure if God's infinite in his ability, why would he go to a different party wearing the same dress?
Right.
Yeah, I figure if one of them has talked to God, chances are a lot of them talk to God in different regions. Probably got asked different things of them, But
very crazy to think about.
It is. It's been a long 10 years. But there are, like, really cool evidences that this is the case, that we are made of God, and several of the things that Jesus said that don't make any sense otherwise, that people speculate on. Like, there's this, okay, so you have the New Testament, right, which is the rewriting of the rules, essentially. And Jesus is more God than the rest of us, maybe a bigger chunk of God. I don't know how that works. I don't think we're ever going to know how that works. But he was important. He says that he goes to this wedding, and the Pharisees are like, screw this Jesus guy. We got to get him. Like, let's discredit him. So they get this lawmaker, right? At this wedding, Jesus is talking to all these people, and the lawmaker, they push him up, and he goes, okay, big shot, new guy on the scene. You're saying that these are the new rules. What are the most important rules? Like, what off of these, God talked to this guy, Moses, and he put him on stone tablets. Like, it's about as concrete as it gets, no pun intended. He says, what is the most important of all the commandments? And Jesus says, first and greatest of all the commandments, love God with all your mind, spirit, and heart. And this is the translation that appears in almost every Bible. The second is like unto it, which means it's similar to it, I guess. And I always found that a little off-putting. Not just because the lawyer says, what is the first and greatest of all the commandments? And Jesus says, the first and greatest of all the commandments is love God with all your mind, body, and spirit. Done. Answered. Like, that's cut and dry. It's very straightforward. He goes, the second is like it. And you're like, okay. Why is he putting
What does that
the second
mean?
one here? And how is this in any way like loving God? Love your brother, love your neighbor as you love thyself. So that makes it, and he says, on these 2 commandments hang all of the other commandments. So they basically, everything is dependent on these 2. Makes no sense. So how is that just as important if you're going to say that this is first and this is yada yada? Unless you realize that we're made of God. In which case, loving your fellow man is loving God. And the translation, by the way, is for the adjective version, which is not what appears in the text. What appears in the original text is the noun version of homos, which you've seen in lots of scientific stuff, and the clarifications of people's sexual preference. Homo. It states that it is the same as, but they translated to the adjective version because they had to make it more sense by making it not say this is exactly this. So they translated it so it says this is similar to this, because at least then, like, you can rationalize it in some way. But if you didn't know that we're made of God, that wouldn't make any sense. You just apply that, and the instant you do, it makes complete sense. And him talking about giving the parable about when the beggar goes to the family house in the middle of the night, asks for food, and they turn him away, and then God shows up on their doorstep and says, as you turned him away, you turned me away. And like he puts it very strangely, because he acknowledges that the beggar was the beggar. It wasn't God in disguise. Mm-hmm. But it was also God that he turned away.
So by basically going against what he said, he was defying God.
So the guys that turned him away also turned God away. Okay. Is what he said, as you have done unto the least of you, you have done to me.
Okay.
And when you realize that it's because we are all made of God, that makes so much more sense. Because God is not only is he not forced to be, I don't want to put it that way, but not only does he experience every unkindness as both the person it's done to and the person doing it, and literally the energy used to do it. Like, that's insulting on so many levels, man. Yeah.
This is like mind-blowing. Like, I haven't had like a very interesting yet useful conversation like this in a while. It's pretty mind-blowing how, you find out other things just meeting somebody.
Absolutely.
I've gotten the opportunity to speak with you.
I had a real pleasurable time myself. That sounds so wrong. But it was really great meeting you, man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. You have a good one, man.
You too, brother. Bandit, you want to go outside?